Okay, this is a test. Let's do a... Alright, Petey, how are you? Testing, Petey. Petey, say something. Hello, look here, look here. Oh, he's such a cute doggy. Oh, it's such a cute dog. Okay, always with mom. Okay, now I got both of you there. Oh, that's pretty good. When was the last time you were on camera?
Never.
Any TV? Never? Mom, you could have been a star.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think we need our makeup artist. Okay, you got Petey there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's take a look. Let me see if I can get a wide shot. Hello, Petey! Alright. Here, then maybe I should move this back a little bit. Alright, okay. Just so I can double the audio, I'm going to record here too. Hey! Stop that! Hey!
That chair is about ready to go out the garbage.
Okay, they're all going out the garbage. Okay. I don't know. Should it be closer in? I don't know. I don't do too many videos like this. Okay, Mom.
Okay, we're off and running.
Okay. Not nervous at all? No jitters here being on camera?
I'm on candid camera.
No, you don't have any jitters from being on camera?
Nope.
No. Well, I think we will do a zoom in here. It's better, actually.
Oh.
Okay, how are you feeling? Oops. How are you feeling, Mom?
Okay.
Oh, you're nervous. I can tell. All right, we're rolling here. All right, Mom. So you're tell me when and where you were born.
I was born in April 18th, 1934, in an old farmhouse that my grandparents and my mother and dad and my Uncle Walter lived.
How many? Now that was a big family, Grandmom's family.
Yeah.
It was the Krasnowskis, right?
Yeah.
How many people were in their family?
There were 7.
7 kids. Uncle Walter was number 1?
No, Uncle Mike was number 1. And then, I guess Mom was either number 1 or number 2.
You're not sure if she was number 1?
No.
Okay, so
and
first
then
daughter.
There was Uncle Walter. And when I was born, my Uncle Walter and my grandmom brought me into the world.
There was no midwife?
No, nobody got there in time.
There was supposed to be, though.
Oh, there was supposed to be a doctor.
So you were a surprise.
I was a surprise, yeah. I wanted to get out. My Uncle Walter saw, and my grandmom saw that I had a crooked foot. And being my Uncle Walter, he pulled it apart and grandmom taped it up so that it wouldn't grow the wrong way. And now I have 2 good feet with just 1 little scar.
Oh, I didn't know that. So where was your dad? 'Cause your dad was...
Nobody said anything about him. I don't know.
Well, where was he? Because I never hear anything about him. His name was Horvat, right? What was his full name?
Michael Horvat.
Michael. Oh, his name was Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Michael Horvat.
We never talk about him in our family.
No. Mom married him, but he turned out to be a drunk.
Yeah.
And he didn't like to work much. And
What did he do?
What did he do? He worked in plants that made steel things. He was very talented. He could have been a tool maker. But he drank too much, and he got fired from every place he worked.
Oh, see, this is a dangerous thing. Drinking too much. I think both my grandfathers died of drinking-related illnesses.
Well, my dad died of a heart attack. He was, he fell asleep at home.
At Cherry Street.
Pottstown.
Street
In Pottstown. And he just went to sleep. And he never never woke up. His heart exploded.
What year was that? That was way before I was born.
Oh my heavens, you weren't born in a long time. That's when we lived on South Street.
But he died at Cherry Street.
Yeah, which was a half a block away.
So you lived half a block away. All right, well, let's go back to your childhood. So from 1934, you were born in the farmhouse. When did you move out of the farmhouse? And this is Bartow, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't know. No one ever told me. But I guess Mom wanted to move in town. It was too far away, and we
what's in Bartow? So it was a farm. What kind of farm was it? What kind of farm?
Just a farm. I don't know what my grandparents did, but I know I was a bad kid. I wouldn't go to sleep. So
you're still a bad kid then.
Yeah. So my grandpa, who was an angel evidently, took me out in a Model T Ford up and down the fields until I fell asleep in the car, and then he would come home.
Wow, so it was a Model T.
Yeah, it was a Model T. An old one. Well, of course, then it wasn't old.
It must have been old. Old Model Ts are like, it must have been 10, 15 years old.
Well, it was black, and I had seen pictures of it with my grandpa sitting in the car with his top hat on, driving me around when I was a baby.
How come you never told me this story?
I'm telling you now.
No, but you never told it before.
Well, no one ever asked. You have to ask. And then Mom and my dad moved to Water Street. That was...
Where's Water Street?
Water Street isn't anymore. That was in Pottstown. There were a few houses, maybe 7 or 10. Poor houses. Outside toilets. But it was so gorgeous. We had this beautiful Schuylkill River across the street. And Grandma and the other neighbors that had room to sit in the summertime, they would have a big garden out front with pretty little flowers growing. And I loved it because the water was so beautiful. It wasn't an ocean. It was a big river.
Did you go swimming in the river?
My dad took me in twice. The river was the Schuylkill River, and it was quite dirty because of the railroad tracks in back of our house. They were using coal, and of course all the coal soot would fall all over, and if you went in the water you came out with a lot of dirt on you.
So that railroad's the Reading Railroad, right? Going up to Reading?
It was the Pennsylvania.
No, wow. Pennsylvania Railroad.
Looking back, yeah. We lived in front of the railroad tracks.
Is that where you were when World War II started?
Mm-hmm.
So what, you were maybe first grade then?
Yeah, I was. My mom worked in the factory. My dad went into the service. He went into the Navy, reluctantly. He was drafted. So it was just Mom and I.
Where did he go? Did he go to Europe or to Pacific?
No. He played that he was sick with a bad backache, so he was in the hospitals all the time. They were doing tests, but he never had to go to war. And he was stationed up in Maine.
In Portland?
No, he wasn't in Portland. He was further north, I think. Not too far.
Bar Harbor?
No, it wasn't along the ocean. It was called Old Orchard Beach.
Oh, that's on the ocean of the beach, Mom.
That's right, yeah. Old Orchard.
That's really near Portland. Mm.
Yeah. And we went...
Oh, Petey.
We went up...
You're interrupting, sorry. All right, go back to Old Orchard Beach. So your dad, Michael Horvat,
was stationed at Old Orchard Beach, and we went to visit him. The trip up was out of this world. Loaded with Army and Navy and Marines. You didn't have a place to sit.
You were on a train.
We were on a train. It was very, very crowded. Everybody was standing. You were lucky to get a seat.
That's a long train ride.
Yeah.
So you went into Philadelphia and then up via New York and Boston.
Right. We had to change trains. And then we got to Old Orchard Beach, Maine. Stayed at a nice little, I don't know.
Bed and breakfast? Guest house?
No, I think it was a tiny hotel right in town with the grass and trees and park in the middle of town. That was nice. I enjoyed that. Went out there to...
How old were you? 7, 8?
I don't remember. How old would I be during the war?
Well, 1941 to 45.
I was born in 34.
6,
I must
7,
have been about
8.
7 or 8. Had a nice time. Got to a restaurant and it was so hot. Filled to capacity at night. And all you saw were lobsters. I was so sick I had to go outside and throw up.
You didn't like lobster then? Oh my gosh, my battery is dying. I don't believe this. Oh, we're going to have to stop here. Hold on, Mom. We're talking to Francis Mikolaitis. You never introduced yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. Who am I talking to here?
Francis Mikolaitis.
No, give the full name. Your maiden name?
Oh my goodness. Francis.
You remember it, right?
O'Donnell Mikolaitis.
Francis Horvat O'Donnell Mikolaitis.
Right.
What's your middle name? Agatha, right?
Francis Agnes.
Agnes. Agnes. Because Eddie sometimes calls you Aggie baby.
Right.
Aggie baby.
Now, we moved to Cherry Street when I was about 8 to 10. I'm not too sure. I was very upset. Loved the river out front.
At Water Street.
On Water Street.
But didn't it flood? You said there was a big flood one year.
Yes, when we lived on Water Street there was. I was a little girl. I don't remember too much except they took us out in a rowboat.
From your house?
From our house, and we went and stayed at my grandmom's, who lived on Laurel Street.
So she didn't live on the farmhouse in Bartow anymore?
No, everybody moved into Pottstown. I don't remember them moving. I was little.
What did they do after they sold the farm?
Well, my grandpa wasn't a very good farmer. And they sold the farm, and he went to work at Bethlehem Steel.
Oh, Bethlehem Steel. Where's Bethlehem Steel?
Bethlehem Steel was not too far away from their house, maybe about 5 or 6 blocks. He could walk to work. And that's where my grandpa went to work. And my grandmom stayed home. And off and on she did work. But she worked at the Kinsey Liquor Company, where they made alcohol.
Kinsey Liquor.
Yeah.
I just heard about that recently.
Yeah?
Yeah, because one of the guests at Brenda's house was there photographing the old factory.
Oh my goodness.
Really? He just mentioned it. Yeah, it's not open anymore, but the building is still there.
Yeah.
In Pottstown.
No, it wasn't.
Not in Pottstown?
No, it was
Not far.
down the road.
No, down the road. Phoenixville, maybe.
In that area. Exactly where I don't know. I was too little. But they had a nice brick big house on Laurel Street. And then my mother...
You can't remember where on Laurel Street. Because you can look these houses up online now. We could take a look.
It was the 400 block
of Laurel Street.
And that did get flooded, but only... It didn't come into the house. It stayed just at the door level.
Mm.
We had 2 floods while I was growing up, but Grandmom's house never got water inside the house.
Did it flood outside? The house was
Yeah.
really high up from the street. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. My Aunt Frances used to walk in it, and her girlfriend lived up the street, and they were both traveling in the water, you know, thinking it was a lot of fun.
And Frances was the youngest, right?
Yes, her and Uncle Johnny. I think Uncle Johnny was the youngest. She was next to the youngest. And what do you want to know now?
Oh, we'll keep on going with that. Where was the house on Cherry Street?
It was on the 400 block, right? It was right on the alley. And then there was one house that was facing Franklin Street. So Mom was next to the, you know, wasn't too far from Franklin Street.
Franklin Street.
And she was at the highest point, and all the other houses went down to Washington Street. But we didn't go there too much down that way, because Grandmom lived.
Hey, my grandmom or your grandmom?
My grandmom lived on Laurel Street on the 400 block, and my mother lived on Cherry Street on the 400 block. So we had a neighbor who was very nice, and we didn't have to go around the corner down Laurel Street to see my grandma, who watched me a lot because my mom and dad worked. So I stayed at my grandma's, so I wasn't far away from my mom's house. I was about 10 then. And
And the war was still going on, right?
the war was still going on, yeah. Well, it was slowing down or stopped.
Well, 1945, so if you were 10, 1944.
Yeah. I think it was over then, or very close to it, because Dad was home.
From Old Orchard Beach.
Yeah.
The big fighting was up there in Maine.
Yeah. Mom got very sick because we went to the beach. You know, you didn't get a chance to go to the ocean too often. So then we were there, so we went to the beach. I had a marvelous time. Mom, being fair, got sunburned so bad that we made it home to Cherry Street. She ended up in bed for 2 weeks.
Oh my God, from sunburn.
Yeah, sunburn, yeah.
From-
And it was a cloudy day, so she got
Sunburn from Maine?
yeah. Nobody went in the water. You
No.
just sat on the beach and got, you know, sunburn. I didn't get anything. I was playing near the water. I had a marvelous time. Mom got sick.
So that was your first time to Maine?
Yeah, my first time. Yeah.
Okay, that's funny because you went back to Maine a few times, very often after that.
Yeah. Yeah, because everything had changed by then when I went back. Yeah.
Okay.
That was nice. Now ask me another question.
Okay. Well. Okay. All right. Cherry Street. Your mom. Your mom's name. What was your mom's full name?
My mom's full name was Mary Jenny Krasinski Horvat.
So Jenny. It was just Jennie. Just like.
Well, see,
Your granddaughter.
She didn't know her real name was Mary until during the war she went to work. And of course she was working in a defense plant. So they had to go through records, and here they found out that my mother's birth certificate was not Jenny, but Mary.
Really? She didn't know her. Nobody
No,
told her her first
no,
name.
Because my grandparents didn't speak good English. And I guess they called her Jenny. Just like my grandpa always called me Susie.
Why were you Susie?
I don't know. He always called me Susie. So if you didn't handle that right, I would have been a Susie instead of a Frances.
No wonder you're confused about names.
Yeah, my grandpa called me Susie. Now you have to remember they didn't speak good English.
So yeah, well, the language at home, their home was Polish?
Polish and Russian.
Who was Russian?
My grandpa.
Grandpa was Russian.
My grandpa was
The
Russian.
Krasnowski's a Russian name.
Yes. It's not a Polish name. Now, what my mom's maiden name, I don't know. Now, I do have their birth certificates, my mother's, and I have an old picture. I guess I never showed you.
No.
I have an old picture of my grandma with my mom when she was this little.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Can we dig that out?
Oh yeah.
Because that would be good for this
Well,
video.
I'll get it right now.
Okay, we'll take a
In
pause.
fact, you'll get it. It's in the cabinet where the medicine is, and it's right in back of the medicine.
Okay.
It's near the window.
Okay. Let me go get that now. You can hold it up to the camera, Mom.
Okay, I'll wait. It's very old.
Oh my.
This is my grandmother
Okay, let's take a closer look at that. Okay.
with my mother.
Oh,
when she
focus
was
is out.
little.
Focus. Okay, I'll have to take another picture of this. This is wonderful. Now, this is your grandmom.
Mm-hmm.
And where was this taken?
My
Is this,
grandmom.
doesn't say any. That's wow. Well, let me look at that. Well, she does look like grandma. Oh wow. Okay, so what was her name?
Victoria.
Victoria.
Victoria Krasnowski. Now, what her maiden name was, I don't know.
But she was Polish. So they spoke a mixture of Polish and Russian at home?
Yeah. My grandmother did not know Russian, and my grandfather didn't know Polish. So they had to learn to communicate.
In English or just
No.
mixing Russian and Polish?
Russian and Polish, yeah.
Well, they're related languages, but it's kind of like French and maybe Italian.
Yeah. Very difficult at first when they met.
Oh, I bet. So were they born in Europe? Do you know?
Yeah. They came over on the boat and met here.
Because Grandmom was born, when was Grandmom? Your mom was born?
My mom was born 1912.
1912. That's the year Titanic sank.
Yeah. and there she is, right there.
Oh, that's Grandmom there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the baby there. Oh, well, that's my grandmom. My grandmom's right in the middle there. Wait, okay, I'll have to do the focus on this later. That's really neat. Oh wow. I want to take I can copy this on my phone.
You have to be very
So
careful.
grandmom was born 1912. Your grandmom was Polish. Your grandfather was Russian.
Her father was Russian.
When did they come over on the boat? Any idea?
Let's see, Mom was born 1912. I would say 1911, 1910.
Oh, so they came over that recently,
Yeah, they came over and met.
before World War One.
Oh my goodness, yes, they at World War One.
That was 1914. So they were already in America.
Yeah, oh yeah. In fact, they had bought a house on Laurel Street, and Mom had a house on Cherry Street. And when I got married, I had a house on South Street. It was Grandmom's house was 439, Mom's house was 417, and mine was 417. In a row.
In a row.
Yeah.
In Pottstown.
In Pottstown.
We'll have to take a look on the computer, take a look down the streets,
Yeah.
see the houses.
One was Laurel, one was Cherry, and one was South.
Okay, after this we'll take a look. All right. So Grandmom, did she speak any Polish or Russian? At home? Grandma.
Yeah. Your mother, my mother.
Yeah, your mother.
My mother did, but they lived out in the farm yet. She grew up on the farm. Hated it. was very difficult to go to school, and
Where did she go to school? Do you know?
she went to school somewhere in Bartow.
In
I
Bartow.
don't know where.
Did she graduate from high school?
No.
Grandmom didn't go to high school.
Nobody did. Everybody had to go to work. I think 8th grade you had to quit and go to work.
And what did she do?
She sewed on a sewing machine.
So seamstress.
Seamstress. Always on a sewing machine. She worked at Shoe Walls. I remember that. I know the street, but I don't remember what the street was. I can see it. She made dresses, little girls' dresses. And then she came closer to Cherry Street and worked at a shirt factory. And during the war, she worked in a shirt factory making shirts, I guess, for the army. Or
Uniforms.
uniforms. And then my dad got out of the service and came home. And that was close to the end of the war, I guess. But we lived on Cherry Street by then. And we had inside plumbing, because when we lived near the river on Water Street, we had outside plumbing.
Did that go straight into the river?
No.
Or was it like an outhouse?
It was outhouse.
Oh, it must have been cold in the wintertime.
Yeah. You didn't poke around the bathroom. Well, it wasn't a bathroom, it was a toilet. You took a bath once a week in back of the cook stove in the kitchen.
Ow! Only once a week?
Yeah. Well, my mom had to carry the water in and then dump the water out, so you didn't get a lot of water. But
So-
you got sponge baths when you were dirty. You know, like you got mud on you or outside playing. Well, then you got washed in a sink. Because there were only 2 rooms in these old houses on Water Street. You had a kitchen and a living room. And then you had 2 bedrooms upstairs.
How many people live there?
Me, and sometimes my grandmom on my dad's side. But my mom didn't like anybody on my dad's side, so we didn't have them. She didn't last long. Mom was very funny. She didn't like my dad's family at all.
And they were from where? The Horvats.
The Horvaths were from Hungary, I think. See, I don't know much about his side of the family because my mom didn't associate with any of that side. I don't even know how many were in that family because we didn't associate with them because they did drink. My dad did drink, and my mom.
Sorry, we're having an animal attack here. What are you guys doing down there?
It's all right.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about my dad's side of the family.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if they're still in Pottstown.
No, I think my dad's sister, I think her name was Mary, I'm not sure. She died.
Your dad's sister.
And about my
your
Uncle
aunt.
John, I would think he's not alive either. Oh, of course not.
But you don't know about their kids, any cousins?
I know his one son has a large family. I met him. That was funny. I was in. I was laid. I
What
was
are you barking
laid
about?
off.
PD.
I was laid off, and I had to go to the unemployment office, and there was my cousin. So he came over to me, and we chatted. He had a large family. But that's all I know about him.
What year was that?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so moving on. School. Where did you go to school, Mom?
I went to school in Pottstown, but junior high was a mile away from my house.
Yeah, I remember you always said, we used to walk miles to school. You kids are lucky.
But yeah, it was a nice big school. And then high school was in town. And that was an old high school. And that was it.
All right, what was the name of the high school?
Pottstown High.
Pottstown High.
And the other one was called Junior High. We went there until ninth grade, and then 10th, 11th, and 12th, we went to senior high school.
So you didn't go to Catholic school?
No,
No, public school.
public school.
But then you sent your kids to Catholic school, except for me.
2 blocks up the street.
That's closer.
Yes, and they didn't have many students, so you would have gotten a better education. And that's why you went there. Then you came home for lunch every day.
Lunch break. Okay, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell me about that. So your first job after you graduated high school?
Was working for the Beltel. Loved it.
Where was that?
In Pottstown, and it was number please. They didn't have automatic telephones then.
So switchboard operator.
Yeah, you were a big switchboard operator.
How big was it?
Very big. Very big. You took care of old Pottstown, and then we had out-of-town service, and we had coin machines that operated for money, and that was funny, because if you put the wrong money in, you couldn't get it out. So everybody would say on the other end, well, I lost my money. Sorry. The bell
How much was a call back then? 5 cents maybe?
5 cents, 10 cents, and a quarter.
A quarter was the most expensive. So you want to call locally in Pottstown, maybe just 5 cents. But if you put in 25 cents, no change.
No change. If you put a dime in.
All right. Tell me, give me one of the lines when you're working. How would you?
It was number please,
So you said number, please.
and they gave me a number, and then I said thank you. You were not allowed to talk as a conversation with anybody, but that's how I met your father, through the telephone. He was a telemarketing, which was one of the first. He telemarketed for the Philadelphia Bulletin newspaper, and they were putting a campaign on for people to buy the bulletin. And of course they were making numbers all night long. So then you got to know them, even though you weren't allowed to talk to them, you did anyway. And
Of course you don't. That sounds like a perfect job for you, Mom.
I liked it. And then I met your father after work.
All right, what was his name?
His name was Edward O'Donnell.
Edward Rourke O'Donnell.
Right, Edward Charles Rourke O'Donnell.
Oh, Charles was his second name.
I think it was.
Edward Charles Rourke O'Donnell. You sure about that?
Yeah, he had a long name. And we met at the restaurant. It's not there anymore, right on High Street in Pottstown.
What was the name of the restaurant?
I don't remember.
What? Can't think hard?
Something like Levin.
11. 7-Eleven.
No, it was just Levin, a restaurant. Something like that. I really can't remember.
So how did Dad talk to you on the phone? So you say number. You just say number, please.
Yeah, there was another man who was very social that worked, and I talked to him more than I did your father, and he's the one that made the date. But instead of him standing outside waiting for me, he had your father stand there and wait for me. So it was a blind date.
Oh. Okay, I never knew that. Nobody, you've never told that to anyone, I'm sure.
No, well, no one ever asked.
It's not something to think of. Tell me about a blind date.
A blind date.
How did the date go?
We went to the restaurant.
How old were you?
19, 18. 18 and a half, going on 19.
You weren't dating anyone seriously then?
No. He was eating and talking, and I was talking and watching because I ate earlier at home. And we talked, and then he walked me home. And
So he was living in Pottstown.
Yeah, at the YMCA.
He was from Maine, right?
He was living in Philadelphia or New York. She goes in the kitty litter.
Yep. Yeah, we're talking about the cat now.
We went out.
Well, tell me about the first date. So he was a couple years older.
Yeah, 4 or 6 years older. We just sat in the restaurant and talked because he ate. It was 10, 11 o'clock at night when he was done. And
So this is like 19...
18. I had
1950.
I had just gotten out of work myself.
1952, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so blind date, and you agreed to have another date.
And
When did he move out of the YMCA? Did he move to Pottstown to be near you?
No, he went. He went back to Philly, I think. You know, I really don't remember. But we did make dates, and I know my Aunt Frances gave me the car. I didn't drive, but your dad did, so that we could run around. And that's
So dad didn't have a car then?
No. We didn't get a car until after we were married. And we were living in Allentown first. He had a nice apartment, and that's where we got married, in Allentown, by the Justice of the Peace at the courthouse.
You didn't have a church wedding?
No, I wouldn't have had a church wedding. I didn't want one.
So how was Grandmom with that?
Well, Grandmom had to sign for me because I wasn't 21.
You had to be 21 then?
Yeah. So she signed for me. My dad was very upset. But hell, your father was 100 times better than my dad.
So you're glad to get out of the house?
I got out of the house. And
He swept you off your feet?
Right. He lived in Allentown, had a nice apartment, and we were there for quite a while. At night, him and his 2 buddies, one was black that stood up for me, and the other one was the one that pushed Ed into the blind date.
Oh wow!
So,
I didn't know about that.
So the 3 of them worked in Allentown yet doing the same thing.
The black guy was doing telemarketing too?
Yes, and they're all...
Oh, well, we'll be quiet. Hold your horses, Mom. Hold your horses. Okay, we're rolling. Go.
Okay, so we stayed in Allentown for a few months, and then the company moved him to Easton.
So what year was this? What year did you get married? 52? 51?
I graduated in 52, got married in 53.
Okay.
And
So you got married really young?
Yes, I was 19. The guys did not come to Allentown. Yeah, they did. They didn't come to Easton. The 2 men that
The 2 buddies.
Dad worked with, they didn't go to Easton. So it was just your father.
How was it having a black friend in 1953? Because there was still... Was there a lot of racism back then?
Not with me and your dad, no. He just came to dinner like anybody else.
Oh, I think that's great. I never knew about that.
In fact, he stood up for us when we got married. Him and the other man.
How do you mean he stood up for you?
You had to have sponsors when you got married.
No.
And they were my sponsors.
Can you remember their names at all?
No.
No. That was a while ago.
Yeah, very long time ago. And then that's when we we got a dog. When we moved to Allentown, I was home, I didn't work, And I went out and got a puppy.
What was the puppy's name?
Snooks.
Snooks?
Snooks. And he was sick. He had some kind of disease. I took him to the vet right away.
You always had dogs, Mom?
Yeah.
Wait,
Always.
before, even with Grandmom? Grandmom never had
Oh,
dogs.
yes, we did.
Oh,
I
you
had
did?
a dog from the time I was 10. And they were all named Snooks or something similar.
Something like that. So you...
Well, it was Baby Snooks on the TV or radio.
Oh.
So all my dogs were Snooks. So anyway, he was very sick and we had him on medicine and he pulled through. And then we moved to Easton. And that's when Dad bought a car because by then we had so much clothes and pots and pans and a dog. So we moved to Easton in a Lebanese section of town. Very nice old lady. We lived above her store. And
Did you try any Lebanese food back then?
yes, she brought me up. I thought they were halupki, but they were in grape leaves.
Oh, the dolma.
Yeah, they were very good.
Yeah.
She wanted me to taste it, and then it was Easter. And of course, everybody was going to church, and being very religious that I was, I went with her to the Lebanese church.
Oh.
And
Was it like a Catholic church or?
yes,
like...
it was a Lebanese Catholic church. A very interesting, beautiful church. And I went with her and
That was in Easton or in Allentown?
in Easton. And we were there for a little while. And then we came to Pottstown.
Back to Pottstown.
Right.
Well,
back
why did
to-
you move back to Pottstown?
I don't know if your father was working. Yes, because he worked from the house. He must have been working for them yet. And he
He
was
was working for the same company?
Yeah.
The
for the Bolton.
Bulletin.
And I was pregnant with Charlie. And Charlie was born in August 17th. And
That's Independence Day in Indonesia.
yeah, we
1954.
we lived at Grandmom's house. And then I became pregnant with Cynthia, because they were born 54, 55, 57. That was Brenda.
Hmm.
And then it went down from there.
What do you mean it went down from there?
We didn't have any more in a row.
Oh, in a row, yeah.
And then when we lived on South Street, your dad wrote a book on gas station management. And it was a shame we didn't keep one of those books.
I heard that was a bestseller, or
Yes,
I mean,
it was. For gas stations. We sold a lot, and we did it all by ourselves. So we had a big profit. And your dad took me to Hawaii.
well, when was the first time you went to Hawaii?
I don't
The 50s? It
remember.
was in the 50s, or?
Yeah.
How did you get there? Now they didn't have direct flights, so
Now wait. We
Pan Am?
got the plane in Philadelphia, a 747.
Oh, they didn't have 747s yet.
Yeah, they did.
Did?
I think it was a 747. Anyway, we flew directly to San Francisco. No, I'm lying. We drove straight through,
Not drove, flew.
flew straight through to Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
And from Los Angeles, we landed on the island of Hawaii.
Oahu.
Oahu.
Yeah. Hawaii is the big island.
Yeah.
Where did you go in Hawaii? What year do you think this was? This was
Oh, I
before
can't
Eddie was born? Before Eddie was born. Or after Eddie? After Eddie was born, must be. 1960?
Yeah, it was after Eddie was born.
Oh, okay. So 1960s, yeah. So
Yeah. We stayed there a couple of days, and then we flew to Kauai or Maui. We went to 4 big islands. It was what? Honolulu.
Honolulu is on Oahu, then
Yeah.
Kauai, Maui, Big Island. Big Island is Hawaii.
Yes.
Hawaii. Yeah.
That was the first island we stayed at. And then we went to Maui, Kauai,
And back to Honolulu.
and back to Honolulu. We didn't hit the smaller islands. My favorite island was Kauai.
Why?
Yeah, I just loved it. It was just so beautiful. Oahu was very commercial.
Did you stay in Waikiki?
Yeah,
remember?
but we didn't.
'Cause I
stay
worked
at
in Waikiki.
Yeah, we didn't stay at the Pink Hotel.
Yeah,
though.
the Ala Moana, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
we stayed at a beautiful hotel on the 2nd or 3rd floor.
Oh, that's nice. The view of the ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, your dad stayed at the top, I think, at the presidential suite. Because when I got in the shower, I saw a couple of roaches. Oh, my God, scared the hell out of me. And
Oh, he complained. That's right. You told me the story.
yeah, and Dad went down and complained. And they said, look, this is what happens in Hawaii. You know, on the islands, it's the heat. You know, we didn't like that too much. But that was the only bad part. And then we saw Don Ho on Tiny Bubbles at the casino or hotel or wherever he was performing. And that was very interesting. I enjoyed that.
Tiny bubble. How's the song go? I forgot.
Oh,
Tiny, the famous song.
Tiny bubbles in the air. Da, da, I don't remember.
And nobody in our family can sing. This is
Well, I'm older. I've lost my voice.
No, yeah, that's your excuse. That's my excuse too.
So that took care of Hawaii. And we
Don't wait. Where are we? So we stopped in Hawaii. How many times did you go to Hawaii?
once.
Yeah.
Once. Your father went a few times with his girlfriend. Then we got divorced. We moved out to.
Well, that was a jump from Hawaii to
we
divorce.
went from Hawaii, and
Directly to divorce.
we moved to the house on Moyer Road, and after the
Well, it was like 1968.
yeah, you were born out there. I don't remember what year. What year were you born?
1969.
1969. And we stayed there for 8
Quick, what was the date? Do you remember my birthday?
No.
No! September
I don't remember
16th.
Eddie's either. I gave up. I couldn't
October
remember
13th.
them all.
It's
Anyway.
having trouble remember their names. Hey, you there!
Yeah, right. But we moved from Moyer Road into an apartment because I loaned your father a lot of money and he couldn't keep the house up. But it saved him from going to jail. I don't know what he did, but he got into some kind of trouble.
Was it fraud or something?
Huh?
Fraud?
I think it was something like that. Yeah, he got into a mess. So I put the house up so that he wouldn't go to jail.
But you could have kept the house if you didn't do that.
Right.
In retrospect, would you do the same thing?
Would not do it now. No, I'm smarter now. I trusted him. And that was a mistake because he wasn't, we were divorced and I shouldn't have trusted him.
Out of the divorce, you got the house, though, right?
I got the house, but then he took it away. Everything he gave me except the children, he took back.
So you got a bargain out of the deal. You got
Yes,
us.
I got all the children. In fact, it got so bad I thought we were going to have to move into Grandmom's house. But it didn't work out that way. We lived in the apartment. Charlie went to Philadelphia to be with Cindy Butt. And Cynthia followed him. because she couldn't stay at grandmom's. She was staying at grandmom's. But she was such a cranky kid in the morning. Grandmom couldn't
I have to
handle it.
show this to Cindy.
Yeah.
Well, Cindy was a cranky kid, huh?
Yeah, she was. She was very, very cranky. And grandmom couldn't handle that. So Cynthia followed Charlie into Philadelphia. And they lived there. And then Brenda went. So everybody ended up, the three of them, ended up in Philadelphia, and the two boys stayed with me
Right. I was one of them.
at Meadowbrook. Yeah,
The apartments. And that was in still
That
Pottsgrove,
was-
or was that Boyertown
that was
then?
Gilbertsville. Yeah.
Gilbertsville. All right, that's when I was in second grade. I think second grade.
It was close.
Yeah, I think that's,
And that's the end of our life story.
that's it. Well, the battery's dying.
That's the thing. Oh, there it is.
Here you go, PD. And Puss. And Mom. The menagerie's coming out.
I'm included in the menagerie.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Get on and the phone. That's a good idea.
Yeah, well, I thought you'd taste the phone again.
Which of course it will as soon as we sit outside.
Absolutely.
Murphy's Law.
Pussycat had to follow Petey.
You don't have to worry about that black cat. He went in the kitty litter.
You did, yeah, I saw that.
What?
The cat went,
Yeah, but
Muppet
that
went
cat,
in the kitty
that
litter.
cat also goes in
Mom, do you want you
the
take this?
kitty litter and on the rug in the front room.
He hasn't done that in a couple days.
Kitty litter.
Oh yeah, he went in the kitty litter. Oh, I can't get this over.
Here, I got it, Mom. I'll help. Ugh, here we go. Yeah. Which way do you want to go with it?
Well, I was going to put it under the table, but maybe you ought to just.
Why don't you
put
sit
it
here?
over-
Your chair's here.
Yeah. He likes to be close by. Oh God. Oh. Ooh, watch your feet, Chase. I never did sweep that up.
Oh, I'll do it.
We have a tiny little broom right there.
Where?
See our little broom?
What's up, Pete?
Just sweep it in the corner.
Okay.
Oh, God. Oh, it's nice out there.
Okay, I found the goddamn thing don't work.
On and off button for what?
Nancy scanner.
Oh. I can't help you with that. I know
Says power
absolutely
backlight.
nothing.
Okay. Can you say apakabar?
Upper Cabana.
It means how are you?
Oh, how are you?
Apakabar.
Upper Cabara.
No, not bara. Apakabar.
Upper Cabar.
Okay, well, let's write that out. Can you say
I
that?
don't want to do that shit.
Let's just say apakabar, Dad.
Ask him about his
Forget it,
growing up.
You don't want to do it.
You don't
I
want
don't
to do
wanna
it either?
nah.
I went through my whole life from the time I was
I don't
born.
want to do my whole life.
Why not? Was it that bad?
Okay, we'll ask Petey down here. Petey, tell us about your life.
Yeah, get Petey. Yeah. Get picture Petey.
I got a picture. It's a video, Dad. Video.
You didn't see me on it.
Petey, look up here.
I worked
Petey, what do you want?
the,
Go walkies?
farmhouse.
Go walkies? Pan
Oh,
around.
and- Ah.
And here we are in Williamstown. I'm not sure if this is actually in focus or not.
Williamstown.
New Jersey.
We didn't get to Hereford yet.
Oh, Hereford. Yeah.
My favorite place with the creek.
Is it because of the creek?
Oh yeah.
There's a creek behind Moore Road too, wasn't there?
No.
Nah.
I thought there was. Oh, wait. How far up did you go, Mom?
All the way up to where it leveled beyond the trailer houses.
The problem is we don't have a good microphone. You have to speak up, Mom.
Oh,
Tell us about the creek. Why did you like it?
why? Because it was pretty, had a lot of rock in it. It was really a nice creek. Always had water in it. Got bitten by a snake in it.
You got bitten by a snake.
Yeah, when we were cleaning it out one day, because it always needed to be cleaned. And when I got out of the water, I saw 2 puncture marks. where the snake hit me. So it was a water snake.
Not poisonous.
No.
Or he wouldn't be here to talk about it.
Right.
Was it a king cobra?
They say they were water moccasins, but I never saw any.
Yeah. Well, I saw a cobra in Java once.
Did you?
I ran over it with my bicycle.
Oh
Did you?
my God.
Yep. King.
Did it snap back? Because they usually attack.
I think it was dead.
Oh.
Maybe I killed it with the bicycle. I don't remember.
You might have.
Yeah.
Or it might have been dead, period. And you just ran over a corpse.
Well, hopefully.
Because they can be vicious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have many snakes?
Well, in Jakarta, no.
No,
Not in Jakarta. In the jungle, yeah.
in the jungle. How far away is the jungle?
Pretty far.
Good.
Really far. Krasnowski was your grandfather's name, and he was off the boat from Russia.
Right.
I can't tell if that's in focus or not.
They must have met at Ellis Island.
No, is that possible?
Yes, they must have. Because they didn't get very far before they got married.
They didn't have any other family in the States?
No. They were the first ones.
Whoa. No, Krasnowski, how do you spell that?
Krezanoski.
K-Y. Oh, our food's here. All right, we're gonna record it here. Here comes our Papa's food. Okay, watch the dog up.
Hold the dog. She's hooked on her root.
Look like she's hooked.
She's
Oh,
hooked
come
on
here,
her
come
root.
here.
She's okay.
2171.
Petey, calm down. Calm down, Pete. Pete, calm down.
Thank you.
Calm down, Pete. Calm down. Calm down, Pete.
Will you go get some
Pete,
paper
calm down.
plates?
Calm down,
Go get
calm
some
down.
paper plates.
Okay.
Big ones.
Eat out here?
In the cabinet. Yeah, we'll eat out here.
Okay. You calm down.
Get that.